Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, the last Sunday of February, and I decided to make a quick video about coffee. So, 80% of you out there have coffee in the morning, maybe a little less. I just threw that number out there, but there's a lot of you that love coffee. And in the years that I've enjoyed coffee, I've gone from being uh, huge connoisseur where I sat in cafes that had their own roasting machine and I had fresh beans right off the roaster, um, all the way to drinking Folgers out of a coffee pot that should have retired years before. Gas station coffee, you guys know the type. Anyway, whether you put tons of creamer and sugar in your coffee or drink it black, we all know that there is good coffee and there is bad coffee. I am one of those anti Starbucks people, but you still will find me there. If I need coffee, I need coffee. Not a big fan of Starbucks. I don't often have a drink from them that I'm just like, wow, this is great. And believe it or not, the only thing that wows me there is the price of the coffee. I mean, I've walked out of there with a $7 coffee, and I'm like, what is this thing doing? Other than, yeah, no idea why something could cost $7. I've had my own cafe inside of a doctor's office where I did all of the ordering, all of the uh, brewing, everything from cold brew um, to frozen coffee drinks. So it, it comes from years of experience with coffee that I'm here today to talk to you. I have not done this for a long time, but just recently I went on to my good friend's website and ordered some of his coffee. So, those of you who live in the Portland area that travel up to Mount Hood on a regular basis, you'll know that as soon as you're leaving Rhododendron, on the left hand side if you're headed up the mountain, on the right hand side if you're coming down, it's the first place on the right. You're coming down the mountain when you hit Rhododendron. There's a large yellow sign that says coffee. Um, that is Mount Hood Coffee Roasters, and my buddy Rick Applegate and his wife June own Mount Hood Coffee Roasters. And I met him by chance. I was selling a coffee machine from the cafe I was just mentioning that got shut down. I had continued on to work for the company where the doctor's office that it was in, and I was charged with selling all the equipment. And Rick contacted me to buy the coffee machine because one of his clients needed it. And we started talking coffee. And before long, he said, "Oh, you're a snow sports guy. I've got a little place up here on the mountain you can rent." And story short, I absolutely fell in love with him and his family and what he does. So I want to encourage you to stop by his business. But if not, he has a wonderful website where you can order his coffee. Now, this is one of my favorites, and it's a dark roast. It is Trillium Trail, and it is by far some of the most amazing coffee because Rick actually roasts it very unconventionally. It's not your typical roaster that you see a large bed of beans or a huge contraption that looks like a locomotive in the building. It's a smaller machine and it uses hot air to roast coffee. And believe it or not, because of the roasting process and the removal of what's called a chap, I think chap off the bean, the bitterness of this coffee is almost non-existent. And the chap, if you know how a popcorn seed pops, you know that hard shell, kind of thin layer, um, exterior part of the seed. That's very similar to a coffee bean chap, and the chap actually comes off of the bean. And if you're using a traditional roaster, it gets mixed up in the beans and ultimately adds to the bitterness, believe it or not. And some people like the bitterness. No offense to them, but when it comes down to it, I don't. And I prefer not to feel acidic afterness in my stomach from the coffee after I drink a cup. So I'm a huge fan of no acid, and I'm a huge fan of no bitterness. So, long story short, you order from Mount Hood Coffee Roasters, and if you're in the Northwest, it gets in a matter of a day or two. I'm sure nationwide you'll have to deal with shipping issues, but it's USPS, so it's all right. It usually sends it in an envelope, first class, or no, sorry, priority mail, so it gets to you pretty quickly. Oh, amazing. Here, you want to smell that? Ha! So I'm going to use a, let's see, should I use the French press or should I use the percolator? Oh, good question. I think I'm only in for a cup or cup and a half, so that's the percolator. I'm a huge fan of old school stuff, so I'm not technically saying that this is the best way to make coffee, but I enjoy it. Very similar to my shaving. I've gone old school with the shaving, just like the coffee. I like old school. So I stay away from the traditional coffee maker. It actually sits up here on my shelf, waiting for me to have a party of 8 over here so I can actually make enough coffee for all of us, which will never happen. But when I'm just me, which is often, I use my percolator, or I use this nice French press that I was given for Christmas. Thank you, my friend Natalie. So I am going to make some Trillium Trail. Perfect. Well, just like anything, I spilled a little, but it's not really good until you spill a little, right? So in case you guys are wondering, you can just see, oh no, spill some more. You can just see the top of my shirt. Those of you who know me know that I absolutely love my dog. And I just became, it's 2019. I just recently became a pretty proficient Amazon shopper. I know. Don't give me crap. I might have actually spilled a little, but needed to spill more by the looks of it. So, as I was saying, sorry, I got a little sidetracked with my percolator and its proper operation. I love my dog, and I just became an Amazon regular, which has been interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they won't deliver to my post office box, but it is what it is. And I was cruising through Amazon, and I found this cool shirt. And I'm telling you right now, it's got a perfect likeness to my dog on it. So now it's backwards for you. Best friends for life, and they're fist pumping. So if you can hold on just a second, watch this. Okay, so this is Lucy. Say hi, Lucy. So telling you right now, that's my dog. Who's that? Who's that? Can you give me a fist bump? Can you fist bump with me? Fist bump. Oh goodness. So somebody just got done eating some cat food that was left over in the cat dish that I shouldn't be having, but I have a cat dish because I have a feral cat that likes to come in and hang out with us and likes to lick on Lucy. I just outed Lucy's problem. You okay? You want to go digest some more? Okay, so enough embarrassing my dog on YouTube. kiss. Thank you for the kiss. Okay. So, anyway, I'm not going to keep you guys on the video until the end of my brewing process, but I want you all, if you have the chance, and you got $10, which is the average cost of one of these nice little pounds, I would implore you to go onto the website of Mount Hood Coffee Roasters and order some coffee. As I said, this is Trillium Trail. It's a dark roast. I'm a huge fan of dark coffee. Super robust, super strong, and fantastic. If you have a chance, stop by Mount Hood Coffee Roasters on your way up or down the mountain. Large yellow signs. It looks like a house. Actually, there's a small business size building, small little building, and then Rick's place is up behind it. And please stop by and say hello. Whether Rick's there as employee, just step in and check it out. It's very cool, and they have all their roasts available in a whole bean or ground format. And if you catch Rick there, say hello from me. And you can tell him about this video because I don't think he's gonna know until somebody does. Anyway, have a wonderful Sunday. It's supposed to snow here today. I've got a big day tomorrow I'm not going to tell you about. Well, I guess I could. But, I mean, if you're watching this video, you're watching my other ones. Tomorrow is the end of all the crap that's been going on with me. And I can actually continue on with living the rest of my life. 2018 was a stupid year for me. And I hope that 2019 is going to be as good as it seems to be already. Who knows? For those of you who are, I got morning head too, who are thinking about going to Clean and Free this year, you will see me. I'm not going to be there all 3 days like I was hoping, but I am definitely going. I will talk to you all later, and I hope if you are a part of that group that I'll see you there. That's only like 2 weeks. And if you haven't noticed, I'm an 80s freak, so I'm watching 80s music videos in the morning. It is what it is. Anyway, I love you all. Take care. If you get a chance, go on Amazon, type in the breed of your dog's name, and you'll find all sorts of really cool stuff to honor your dog. Oh, I got one more thing to show you. I got this on Amazon too. Just a little sign, a little Lucy on it. Anyway, I hope that you guys all are getting a chance to go to the mountains if you're snowboarders or skiers and enjoying the powder. And I hope to be one of those people soon. Anyway, 14 minutes. Take care. Have a good morning. Later.